Welcome in, everybody. Liam Murphy here to talk about fantasy football, the picks to make to win your leagues. Let's start with a stroll down memory lane, see what we can learn from the past. Oh, this is not how I want to share the screen. My apologies. So, this is the draft board from when I won Best Ball Mania 2. If you're new here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And let's just see how different these drafts were back then. So as you can see in the first round, first off, I'm in the 8-hole. This team won the contest. JT, Aaron Jones, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, Chase Claypool, Tyler Boyd, Damian Harris, Noah Fant, Cole Beasley, Justin Fields was a 0 all year. Mike Gesicki, Christian Kirk, Rashad Penny, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Diami Brown, MBS, Jeff Wilson Jr. A little bit about this team. It won first in Best Ball Mania 2 for $1,001,000. Jonathan Taylor, he was the RB1 on the year. Aaron Jones bought a little bit of a fear dip here. There's Aaron Rodgers certainty at this time of the year. Amari Cooper, he wasn't really that great a pick. Jamar Chase, he ended up falling to the 5-6 turn at times later in the year because of Jamar Chase can't catch a football with laces. Chase Claypool wasn't that great a pick that year. Tyler Boyd, we ended up stacking the Bengals without Joe Burrow. I think we happened to get sniped on Joe Burrow. You know, sometimes it's a happy accident. Now, Joe Burrow actually was QB1 week 17 that year. However, Damian Harris was a lot more important to the team. Damian Harris had a huge week 16. I think he had a good week 15, and I think he hit the lineup week 17 as well. Want to point out that I guess we'll finish the team here. Cole Beasley was our stack with Josh Allen. He was fine that year. We planned to go Gabe Davis, I'm sure, because I had 60% Gabe Davis that year with Josh Allen. Was sniped on him and ended up taking Justin Fields. And you might be like, well, Justin Fields was a 0 that year, so I won with a solo quarterback. However, if I didn't take Justin Fields there, maybe I take someone like one of these dog-ass picks like Jalen Reagor, Nelson Aguilar, and then I don't get Christian Kirk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, these butterfly effects. Mike Gesicki, again, no fan Mike Gesicki. We're going to talk about the tight ends. Christian Kirk, he was a smash that year for Arizona, vertical slot. Rashad Penny, people stopped drafting Rashad Penny later in the contest because he got hurt. I was drafting him because he was a former first-round pick. This contest, by the way, this team was drafted sometime in June. And because he got to play the Lions defense week 17, which was a terrible run defense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, smash. Tyrell Williams was the other guy who could have been the Detroit wide receiver 1. As you can see, no Detroit wide receivers were drafted at all, really. It was these two guys. Diami Brown, never wrong, just early. Marcus Valdes-Scantling had a huge week 15. And then Jeff Wilson Jr. was a guy I continued to draft even though he got hurt sometime in June. I kept on drafting him knowing that others would not be. And I just needed him to return healthy sometime in the season. Does it remind you of any players? What I want to talk about is kind of talked about this the other day on stream. Let's just look at the tight ends, man. I mean, obviously the running back sticks out where literally Tyreek and Travis Kelce were the only two non-running backs in the first round. The quarterbacks, one of my big stands of BBM2 was the elite quarterback was simply underpriced. Josh Allen was a 5th-round pick. Lamar was a 5th-round pick. Don't think Mahomes had a great year that year. Don't remember, but he was a 4th-round pick. Tom Brady was a smash that year. 9th-round pick. I think Stafford had a good year there, but we were just doing guys like Russell Wilson, Dak, Herbert. Hurts was a smash that year. He was an 8th. And then the tight ends, like the tight ends that we take in today's landscape. So David Njoku, Evan Ingram on the Broncos, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert. Like these are markedly different bets than Noah Fant, Logan Thomas, Tyler Higbee, Irv Smith Jr. Like this, we were just hoping this would happen. Mike Gesicki, Adam Troutman, folks. Gerald Everett, Evan Ingram on the Giants, Robert Tonyan, Anthony Ferkser. Do people even remember Anthony Ferkser? Blake Jarwin. This year, people were assuming Blake Jarwin was the Cowboys tight end one, and is actually Dalton Schultz, who didn't get drafted in this one. So, yeah, I mean, love Bowers, love McBride. An argument for them is if you build a super team, so if you hit running backs, you hit wide receivers, you have a super team because you have the best tight end. However, man, it is going to, like, let's just say Bowers and McBride average like 14 half-point PPR points a game, which is that's pretty good. And then Goddard averages 10. Njoku averages 11. Kincaid averages 10. Man, it is going to be tough to get these guys to the playoffs. Which I'm not a playoff above everything, but yeah, they just kind of they stand out in that way. Now, obviously, Bowers, McBride, they both have the capabilities of having 12, 13, 1,400 yards, a couple touchdowns, Anyways, want to take you folks down memory lane there in Best Ball Mania. We're getting some preseason games, and, keep that board in mind because we're jumping into Best Ball Mania 6. That was the second edition that I won. Drafting from the 3-hole. Some NFL news that we've gotten. Man, Chargers faithful, I'm sorry. It is tough to be a Chargers fan sometimes. They never really made that deep a run with Philip Rivers. They had some years. Quite like those Saints years with Drew Brees, where they were probably the best team in football, and they just happened to lose. But, man, they lost Rashawn Slater, star tackle for the year. Very sad. Ladd McConkey has not been practicing for the better part of a week. He's probably going to be fine, but he's not practicing. Losing Slater is just this is bad for the whole offense, right? Please don't tell me this is 2. Anthony Richardson sacked, injured. Daniel Jones already in. We're banning Michael if he's lying. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Anthony Richardson hurt already. Bijan is not a guy I've gotten a lot of, so let's get Bijan just to even things out a little bit. Just went off holding his right arm. My God, man. Oh, my God. Davis goes live during the Trump murder attempt, and we go live during the Anthony Richardson attempt. Malcolm says arms aren't a big deal for a quarterback. Folks, I mean, the way the NFL is trending right now, people are getting hurt every single day in practice. And it looks like Keaton Mitchell has 2 20-plus yard runs. He's a guy I was slamming in the 18th. Feels like a great guy to be mixing in. He's going to rocket up boards after this. I don't know if this demonetizes us. We'll show it for a second. We'll show it for 1 second. Hopefully AI doesn't catch us. Richardson. Well, that's sad. Hopefully he's okay. It couldn't be Daniel Jones who got hurt. Just kidding, Daniel Jones. I mean, the sack looks somewhat normal. Ugh. Yikes. You almost wonder if the Colts coaches were like, hey, we want you to blindside rush Richardson and see if he picks it up or not. And the answer was no. Anyways, let's focus on the positive. We got Bijan on this team. I mean, on the real, as someone who's not been drafting a lot of Derrick Henry, that is why I've drafted quite a bit of Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, trying to benefit from Henry failing. Sorry if this is a silly question, but can I reference your best picks in each round article for my home redraft league? Tommy, I wrote that back in May. Let's see when I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that on April 15th. So that was back in the big board. So that wouldn't really be my suggestion. But the good news for you is I'm going to have redraft rankings on the site by nighttime tomorrow. So I would just go off the redraft rankings there. Let's see who I said in that. Round 1, I said Gibbs, Puka, Brian Thomas. Round 2, I said London, JT, Ginty. Round 3, Rashid Rice is mentioned here. Round 4, yeah, there's just been a lot of market movement. Well, if Richardson is not playing, they're going to need JT to do something, folks. So Bijan and JT, 2 workhorses. Throwing it back to the BBM2 days. You just saw me win with Aaron Jones and JT. Imagine what I can do with Bijan and JT. Yeah, I had round 7 was Travis Hunter. I also mentioned George Pickens in that. Pretty huge win. So this was pre-draft, pre-NFL draft. All right, Jordan Mason in this article. We had Keenan Allen in this article. We had J.K. Dobbins around 14. I said, like Keenan Allen, I'm assuming Dobbins will sign with the team post-draft. It's possible in a year he finished not injured. He improves on his efficiency from last year. I had Jerome Ford in this article. Again, this was pre-draft. We had Kyle Williams around 16. I mean, you see the BBM2 team. T. Higgins is just like objectively, okay, fine, we're going to do T. Higgins. I don't know. I let it go down to 0, so it was either going to auto me Josh or give me T. Josh would be the synergy with BBM2, but just don't think we should be getting T in the third too much. Detractors would say, what's the difference between T. Higgins and George Pickens, DK Metcalf, etc.? Well, the difference is you need to start 3 wide receivers. It's also that, the Bengals will be the league leaders in pass rate. Curious where Hampton goes in this draft after today's Slater injury. I don't think there will be any impact. First of all, most people don't even know any O-linemen. So, wow, this guy's destroying the draft. Thank you, sir. Can I speak on Judkin's situation? I mean, in a way, I have absolutely no way of knowing. Drew Davenport, an actual lawyer, said after some recent news today, says he has a more optimistic outlook. Still looks like he might have to deal with a 6-game suspension or something. Let's see. I retweeted it. I mean, I personally feel that we should be drafting these fear-dropped players. But if you don't want to, that's fine, right? Drew says, for now, I'm slightly more bullish that Judkins will escape serious legal consequences. The problem for him is whether he can escape the automatic 6-game trigger in the personal conduct policy. So, somewhat ambiguous there. Would you go Keaton over Justice now? I think they're both. They're good picks for different reasons. And I mean, Keaton that year that he was having a good year before he got hurt, he had beat Justice Hill out for a job. So the market might put him ahead. It's not really the perfect reading of the situation because the Ravens are not playing their starters. So if Justice Hill's getting rested in preseason, that's a good sign for Justice Hill, right? Yeah, the coach speak 2 weeks ago. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like, our 1 and 2 is Henry and Hill. Keaton's got to prove something. So is it a good sign that Keaton looks good against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year's backups? Yes. Let's do JMO. Just a big play waiting to happen. Awesome week 17 matchup. You don't need to buy the dip on anyone. I will be buying some dip on Mixon, though. Yeah, the Keaton versus Justice Hill roles. Like, Justice Hill is the pass catcher. Keaton seems kind of like the Bishel Tootin. He'll get some carries here. Maybe his role grows. And DJ Moore is someone I never draft. But I have a huge amount of Hunter. So why not? We'll buy the 7-pick discount on DJ Moore. AR is fine. That's good news. Yeah, the hit didn't look that big a deal to me, but I didn't see him holding his shoulder. Man, the chat is popping with info. Why is Moore dipping so much? I think there's been positive reports on Rome Odunze that he could be the one. He pouted last year. He was probably just overpriced some, right? To me, it's conceivable any of Rome, Loveland, Burden, Moore are the best picks for the Bears as far as raw yards. So you probably should not be just slamming the most expensive one. Could Moore be the best one of them? Yes, of course, right? Moore's been an awesome pick in the past, but yeah, no, he was already probably a little overpriced. And then also, again, the Caleb Williams stuff is a mixed bag, and casuals hate Caleb, so they probably don't like the Bears. Through half a quarter of preseason week 1, where starters aren't playing, my Tyler Warren bags are looking gold right now. I think we should remember that most coaches are running vanilla coverage, but hey, it's certainly better than someone looking bad. Richardson wasn't hurt. He was just tired. I don't think you actually want this, Michael. I don't think you want Warren getting snaps on the boundary. Yeah. You don't really want him to be facing up against Sauce Gardner, Do you think Cousins will be traded? That's a really tough situation. My lean is still yes, but the Falcons, I think, have playoff aspirations. The jury's out on Michael Penix, so they might just keep him and be like, look, Penix gets hurt, Penix stinks. Let's go back to Kirk. Well, different teams use preseason games for different stuff. Some teams want to evaluate the back end of their roster. Some teams want to play the starters to begin. Different stuff. I wish that the old data was still there from last year's contest. Like the stream, folks. Let's do Diggs this time. Another guy who I don't draft all that much. Addison gave me week 17 with JMO, but Addison's already in the 80s on DraftKings, so he's got to fall some. Yeah, Jordan James broke a finger or something like that, and so he's out a couple weeks, which it's much worse news for him than it is for Isaac Rendo because Jordan James is a rookie. Yeah, I don't understand why. I've seen the new draft board on Underdog. Mine's not doing that. Mine's still the same old one. So maybe it's different on mobile. Where are you seeing the new board, Chad? Mine's the old school one, but I did see it. I thought it looked hideous, the new one. First takeaway. Didn't even really focus for Joe Burrow, but yeah, Joe Burrow went naked. Okay, Addison goes. Laporta gives us some double Lion stuff, like Reed. Let's do Ibuka this time. I haven't been getting as much Ibuka of late since I just was taking him a lot at pick 94, but do want some of him in these August drafts too. How long do 8-hour slow drafts normally take? They can, I mean, it's very varying. Sometimes they can be done in like 2 weeks. Sometimes they can be done in like a month. Do I watch any preseason games? Yeah, generally, but got a draft later. Want to just put a stream in, so seems fine to not watch. Do I watch all the preseason? No, I don't. Is Zay Jones draftable? Zay Jones is definitely draftable as a low-owned guy. Cheers, Ethan. No, the draft with Ron and Jacob. You would have heard. We're not doing the draft tonight. We did get together and we said, when do we want to do this? Oh, Ethan super chat then asked a question. What do you think of drafting on mobile generally? Negative EV question mark fits my lifestyle better. Cardio club, but don't want to cost myself. I mean, Ethan, I do a lot more drafts on mobile than I do on desktop. And I almost certainly won BBM2 on mobile. So I don't think it is. And again, I'm not an EV sweat lord. You know, like I just really don't think this stuff is like these people trying to push these products to you. They're just trying to sell something to you, which maybe I will one day. But that's the truth. Don't, do what fits your life. Okay. Don't be, and you can't measure everything in EV, folks. That is a slippery slope of thinking where it's like, oh, I don't have time to drive my mother to the airport. That will cost me EV. I could be drafting teams there. Like be a person. Do I bother with puppies and smaller stakes? Generally, no. I just only have so much time, and I don't do a lot of slow drafts. So yeah, actually, I'm less likely to win a tournament than some people just because I don't draft all these smaller ones. When they do puppies that are 200K to first, I tend to mix them in, but generally no. Is Olamide Zacchaeus draftable? Yeah, he probably needs an injury, so he's worth mixing in. Wow, kind of a crazy fall in Aaron Jones. Gives me some week 17 correlation with Jameson Williams. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Mason I like too, but I just simply think it's wrong that he goes ahead of Aaron Jones. He's explosive. BBM2, man, now I kind of wish I went Josh Allen over T. Higgins just to get the whole BBM2 gang back. Yes, of course I have the week 17 schedule memorized. Josh, I'm sick. I know the buys for most teams. Like you can say a team, and I'll almost certainly know their buy. Not like something I tried to do. I just do know it. I don't know. I don't feel like taking a quarterback right now. Let's take Joe Mixon this time. On a team with Bijan, JT, Aaron Jones, we don't even really need Joe Mixon until like week, 8? Pick 99. He's not available pick 99 always, so seems fine to mix it in. Jamar Chase scored a touchdown. Are there multiple preseason games on? I think there is. I know I don't need to memorize them, but unfortunately I have. I mean, Rob, the way it works is if you have a good preseason game, you're going to rise. And the issue is if multiple players have a good preseason game, there's just like all this market movement. So it's like, I mean, not all this stuff is logical, you know? Warren looks good. I mean, I'm just going to tell some preseason horror stories of the past. A couple of years ago, Kenny Pickett came out for the Steelers, absolutely eviscerated the Bills on offense, led like 2 awesome drives. People are like, oh my God, the Steelers, they're going to be good. Yeah, I mean, it was Kenny Pickett, folks. And again, just think to yourself, okay, the actual NFL season is here. Do we think the Colts are just going to be churning out first down after first down with the passing game? Yes or no? Probably not, right? So Caleb, we consider instead of Joe Mixon. We got to upgrade the super stickers. Definitely we do, Carson. What do you want to see there? I'm open to ideas. There's a lot of things I need to do. Michelle's sick. Michelle maximizing EV here. I'll come back to that. We're going to take May. He has a higher ADP. I have Goff ranked higher because I like his week 17 game more. But Michelle is waiting to see Torrey Horton tonight to decide whether she's going to draft him or not. Love it, Michelle. That's grinding it down there. Oh, here we are, folks. Warren the next Bowers. I mean, he could be. Just imagine how much better Loveland is if he went ahead in the draft. I have something like, I pulled up my Keenan Allen exposure yesterday on stream. I don't know, something like 20% or something. Okay, yeah, and not really much else to think about other than getting Goff to go with JMO. So we got May and Goff, Bijan, JT, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, and Mika Igbukka. Feels good. May, I think, will be a great regular season pick, but I don't really love his playoff schedule. Bills, Baltimore, Jets. Goff, of course, has one of the nutted Week 17 games. So, good pairing together. It looks like a Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase touchdown happened, but it was nullified by a chop block. Still like Jerome Ford. Yeah, I still think he is worth mixing in. He has a place. I'm not like slamming Ford as much as last year because it's more muddy to me. Last year it was like, well, I think Nick Chubb is relatively cooked. And he was. And I think Jerome Ford is explosive. This year, okay, there's Sampson, there's maybe Judkins, and there's Ford. So possibly Ford is just the starting running back. Possibly he's the RB3. It's very wishy-washy. When is my home league redraft? We almost always do it after the third preseason game. So, I mean, we're going to stop at 5 running backs with Bijan, JT, Aaron Jones, Mixon. 2 to 3 tight ends, probably error on 3. If there's a quarterback that makes sense for a third, we'll consider it. We just saw Keenan Allen go pick 136 in this one. I think that guy was drafting pretty bad earlier. Yeah, just naked Joe Burrow. It's always the Derrick Henry guy who goes naked Joe Burrow and then reacts to recent news. I mean, this team could win the contest, but like, you know, is that Samson Price real? Where he went 110? I think that's higher than he usually goes. Definitely think Goddard is the best pick here as far as he's like the tail end of an elite, semi-elite tier. I mean, you could include Kyle Pitts in there, I guess. Seeing as I need tight end, though, he was a very comfy pick for me there. I just go these guys so often that we're gonna go Josh Palmer this time. We're gonna force the week 17 correlation of Palmer and Goddard. It's quite tough for me to pass on a Tootin there. But I don't want like 85% Tootin. I like Tootin because, you know, just profiles as a league winner, but he also could be a zero. And so when a player could be a zero, I don't want a trillion% of them. Pop Douglas. I was hoping to sneak the next round to go with May. Maybe I should have just taken him over Palmer. Time will tell. I'm not chasing Samson too much. Could be wrong. Will Shipley stocks up? I mean, I'm just taking y'all's words for it. Will Shipley, the ADP just went up 20. All right, let's do NFL. Let's see. Will Shipley, 3 carries, 43 yards. Seems good. Yeah, I never understood why he fell. AJ Dillon, thank God. Liam Murphy's mod isn't a mod. You know, shockingly, big boy, some random guy who just made that account. The answer is no, he's not. I don't have any YouTube mods. I mean, this would be really bad by people if this is the case. This is like, guys, Jahan Dotson is not good. So if he turns 100% drafted, praise it. Garendo would have been quite a nice pick as far as like a 5th upside swing at running back. Yeah, well, I'm going to take Judkins. Why not? We're embracing the risk with Mixon and Judkins. Maybe they're both zeros. If that's the case, Bijan, JT, Aaron Jones could be enough. They also could be 2 of the best picks on the board. If one's a hit and one's a zero, that's also fine for this team. So I don't know. When it's Judkins versus like Rico and Co., feels like people are just being afraid. I think Blue returned to the sideline. Like 5 guys got carted off and then returned to the sideline. All right, we're gonna play the ADP. No, we're gonna do the stack. Mr. Henry to go with Drake May. Braylon Allen's been climbing boards. Got a lot of cheap Allen, cheap Douglas. Let's try to find some teams. I'm sure I have teams with both. Someone was asking about like the cheap contests I do. As you can see, I just don't do that many of these randos. The Schnauzer I autoed. I don't know. Let's just look at a random team. Mike Williams, of course. I had Keenan Allen on it too, though. Josh Palmer used to be available at 176. George Pickens at pick 80. Oh, that was Emeka Ibuka. Where did he go? Emeka Ibuka, pick 83. Not too big a difference. Demario Douglas, pick 203. Jordan Mason, 110. Travis Hunter used to be more expensive. Demario Douglas, pick 179. Yeah, someone that doesn't like nerd out on my exposures too much as far as like, oh, I need to have 8% of this guy and 7% of this guy and 13% of this guy. Like sometimes those guys can get away with me, the Demario Douglases of the world, where I just remember and know I drafted a lot of them cheap and then they go up several rounds and I don't always chase them up. But players do rise for a reason. Eagles tush pushing in the preseason should be legal. Yeah, that's out of pocket. They're trying to keep Will Shipley's ADP down. Sure. Dynamic Brown. And let's go Isaac Tesla. Two guys who should catch some deep balls. Drake May, Jared Goff, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Quinshon Judkins, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Emeka Ibuka, Josh Palmer, Diami Brown, Isaac Tesla, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry. Considered someone like Taj Brooks as a sixth running back, even though I don't exactly need it. Yeah, I don't think this last pick could be anything. Could put it into quarterback, could do tight end, could do wideout, could do running back. Probably going to do tight end. You like that voice? I mean, honestly, half these people on Twitter sound like this in my head. I saw someone tweet out the other day that they were like victory lapping, fading Khalil Shakir after his hurt ankle, as if they like knew he would hurt his ankle. It was just insane. Weekly winners is closed. Official. Sorry for the yawn, folks. Man, I did to get inside of someone's head who's drafting Russ. I don't know. Maybe they're right, but it could never be me. So I don't have a giant. Otherwise, I would strongly consider Dart. Try to do Austin Hooper and be an absolute sicko. What you been doing lately, Mr. Hooper? We had 500 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. I think we're going to do Higbee for the week 7. Nah, you know what? No. I do Higbee a lot. You gotta be sick sometimes, folks. How many teams have Austin Hooper? Literally only me. No one else has done this. I would bet that literally the raw number of BBM teams with Austin Hooper is 3 or under. I'd set the line at 3.5 and I'd bet the under. It's going to be more now because I streamed it, but we'll be able to check post 8/7. Over Harold Fannin. I mean, obviously, there's like infinite picks that are better as far as like guys who could be league winners. But Austin Hooper is a stack with Drake May. They could run some 12 personnel out of there. And you're just trying to get 2 touchdowns at the right time. Drake May, Jared Goff, Bijan Robinson, JT, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Quinshawn Judkins, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, Diggs, Egbuka, Palmer, Brown, Tesla, Goddard, Henry, Hooper. Where did Keaton Mitchell go in this one? Keaton Mitchell went in the 3rd round. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Did he go undrafted? He went undrafted. So, yeah, I didn't look at the whole chart, but the fact he didn't have Laviska Shenault as slappiest guy is simply wrong. All right, let's do an eliminator. No, I want to do a drafters actually. Drafters is the one I have the least amount of teams in right now. Drafters is total points, weeks 1 through 17. Whoever scores the most points wins the contest. There's no pods, PPR. I'm in here. I need several more. If you want to draft with me, promo code Cheslium. Do you need to update on desktop though? Maybe they just didn't do it in BBM. This will get you a $100 deposit match. Contest is almost certainly going to overlay. I'm at number 45. Almost every contest is 150 max, but yeah, the Drafters main event is 150 max. Need 4 more of you, lovely folks. Jamar Chase Rise incoming. If this was last year, the answer would be yes. Chase getting the triple crown again. I mean, we're about due for the first overall pick in a draft to be actually good, you know? Yes, this is the thing. Both the drafters and eliminator is like this. And that's why I think it's a little bit tougher business-wise. Because not many of us will have a sweat week 10 on drafters. You know, like you're going to know, you're going to look at your team and you're going to be like, oh, I'm 200 points behind first. Okay, I'm not winning. Or you're going to be like, oh, I'm within 20 points of first. Like I have a real sweat here, you know? CMC has done this, but the 101 has simply just not been a great pick for several years running. Right? It was CMC, bad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like something like this has happened. BBM 2 year, it was also CMC. He got hurt. BBM 3 year. Was it CMC again? I don't remember for. I don't remember for BBM 3. That year was the best year to be drafted. Oh yeah, my God, man. It was JT. Man, we were so bad back then. JT 101 was crazy. He wasn't like a firm 101 because you know why he was? Because he was the best pick in BBM 2. So that's why he was the 101. or the best running back. No. CD was BBM 4 because CD was the best pick. Well, last year it wasn't CD. Last year CD was my 101, but the market's 101 was CMC. Right? I mean, I can pull up some boards. It's been CMC like 5 of these years. What could go wrong? Okay, so BBM 2 was CMC for sure. BBM 3 was Jonathan Taylor. BBM 4. So 21, 22. That's 2023. I'll pull up a board for us. Shout out Underdog for keeping this data. BBM 4. Jefferson was the one on this board. And when Jefferson, Chase, CMC, Tyreek. No, this was. Oh, BBM 4 was last year, right? No. Yeah, Jefferson seems reasonable. 4 was JJ. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Let's pull up another board. These are August drafts I'm pulling up, by the way. It went Jefferson, CMC, Chase, Tyreek, and then I took Diggs at 5. Oh my, yeah, this is the year that Tony Pollard at the 1-2 turn cost me a lot of money, because he was just not a good pick. But he had a tightrope. Let's see, another draft board from BBM4. Jefferson, Chase, CMC, Tyreek. So it was Jefferson or Chase or CMC pretty much. My God, Cooper Kupp. We have quite a bit of Keaton Mitchell. Cool thing you can do on Drafters is you can just type a player's name. So on Drafters, out of 45 teams, I have 9. Quick maths, 20%. Seems good. We were drafting Keaton Mitchell back in May when people were not drafting him. And then people kind of got hip. So our first Keaton team was on team 12 for us. Tua, Penix, Stafford, Achane, Chuba, Connor, Tyrone Tracy, Tank Bigsby pick 161, Keaton Mitchell pick 233. Neighbors, Tyreek Hill pick 32. Tyreek vibes are weird right now. Travis Hunter expensive. Brandon Ayuk way expensive compared to today. Darnell Mooney expensive today. Amika Ibuka pick 104. Andre Yoshivas, of course I have Mike Williams on this awesome team. God damn, Mike. Someone asked Mike Williams on Twitch if he's going to play, and he said not this year. So yeah, I don't know. Needs Neighbors, Tyreek, and Hunter to be special. Then we got a team with Caleb, Goff, Geno, Saquon, JT, Chase Brown, Rico, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Keaton Mitchell, 220. DJ Moore, Jameson, Olave, Rome, Jalen McMillan, Adam Thielen, Michael Wilson, Yoshivas, Mike Williams. Dude, Mike Williams. At that time, I was like, okay, the Mike Clay projections are optimistic on him. Purdy, Ward, Darnold, Bucky Irving, Chuba, Tyrone Tracy, Ray Davis, Jaleel McLaughlin, Miles Sanders, Keaton Mitchell, CD Lamb, JSN, Travis Hunter, Juwan Jennings. I swear to God, if I see Mike Williams. Roma Dunze, Brandon Ayuk, Demario Douglas, pick 189. Andre Yoshivas, Evan Ingram, Tucker Kraft. God, man, I'm just clicking random teams being like, don't show me Mike Williams. We have an early Isaac Tesla team. Goff, Stroud, Trevor, Cook, Chuba, Brian Robinson, Tootin at an expensive price, Keaton Mitchell, Kareem Hunt, picks that are being made today. Amon-Ra, Nico, Mike Evans, Jennings, Shakir, Dobbs, Tolbert, Tesla, likely Freiermuth, Hunter Henry. Obviously, Freiermuth has gotten way then. Oh, we autoed Lad. Didn't even know. Don't even hate it. And yeah, let's go Trey McBride. I don't think it's so clear. I think Hill's probably the pass catching back. Hill's actually bigger than Keaton Mitchell, but Keaton is like big enough. So I went to rugby practice and they were gearing up for like their last tournament of the season, of the summer season, which is sevens. And then they said that they won't have practice again until October. So the answer is currently no, but I plan to go back out in October. I don't even think either. I mean, obviously the early Jono teams is not great, but Freiermuth is cheap enough that like Freiermuth could go 600 yards and 6 touchdowns with Rodgers, you know? Why does Pickens go higher in full PPR? Where are you seeing that? Yeah, Chase Brown went next to me. No, I mean, Chase Brown is defensible to be mixing in anywhere in the second round. I was all in on late third Chase Brown. So thank you, sir. I was the one who was like Davis was like, "Oh, this guy could, you know, we've seen these guys be bad," but I was just like, I mean, we just saw this guy be a dog last year, and now we're, you know, and do this. Now he could whatever, he could get hurt or something, but yeah, I have a lot of nice early teams with like Gibbs, Achane, and Chase Brown in BBM. Man, I like both these players, but we're gonna go Jaden just because there's some chance I get Cook at pick 54, and I forego that if I take Cook there. Have I drafted any Brandon Cook? I think like very rarely. Maybe only in the big board. Picks like that are better in this contest, but yeah, not a lot. Yes, we will have some mains later. I think Chase Brown's like my highest owned player in Best Ball Mania, or one of them. It won't end up that way, but here, I'll read it. I'll read it for you folks. I don't really usually tell my exposures early, but since we're talking about him, let's see. Chase Brown on just all underdog teams, excluding Eliminator, is showing at 22%. If I just do Best Ball Mania, we're at a cool 20%. Yeah, I like Chuba better than Kamara. Feels fun. Elite quarterback, an anchor running back, an elite tight end, 2 wideouts. No, I'm not really like slamming Hampton, but all these running backs are somewhat similar, right? Like it won't be surprising if any of Brown, Irving, Taylor, Hampton, Kyron, etc. have a good year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were just listening, but I have 20%, so you are competing with my. And I don't not draft Chase Brown anymore. I'm just not going to be taking Chase Brown in the middle of the second when I have him in the third, you know? Let's find one. Let's find one for the folks. I have at least a couple Achane, Gibbs Achane, Chase Browns. Oof. See, like I didn't draft a lot of yeah, here's a Chase Brown team at pick 33. And Chase Brown's not really like risen that much, so he's just totally fine to take at the 2-3 turn. Here's a weird one I did. Sure. Rizzy Pearsall. Welcome, sir. Chase Brown pick 32. Chase Brown pick 34. I have drafted a lot more Chase Brown, though, in the early ones, so I do need to get some in my August ones. Here's a fun one. Let's pull the draft. How do we go? So we went Gibbs, Achane, Chase Brown, James Cook. We started 4 RB. DK Metcalf, who's gone a little bit up in price. Godwin, who's gone way down. Golden, who's remained the same. Ibuka, who's gone up in price. Baker to go with Ibuka. Keon, who's gone up in price. Jordan Love to go with Golden. Kraft with Love. Likely, who got hurt and gone down. Dobbs, Alec Pierce, Andre Yoshivas, Dontavian Wicks, and Isaac Tesla. That team was drafted on... I don't know now. But cool squad. No, I mean, Chase Brown did make it to 36, but it's fine to still do anyways because... Wow, crazy. We'll take Jaden Reed with the Q tag. It's fine to still do anyways because all you got to tell yourself is that your group of players is simply better than the group of players that have Chase Brown in the third, right? So let's say I don't know, let's find an early Chase Brown team here. Looks like we got 17 Chase Brown teams in this. 26. Let's find one with him in the 30s. Okay, this is borderline 30s. So this team's sick off the jump. We went Gibbs, Achane, Chase Brown, James Cook. So we did that same combo. You know, when I like my guys, I draft my guys. But all you got to tell yourself if you take Chase Brown here is that whoever you're taking in the third outscores Achane. Obviously, the market doesn't agree with you. Achane goes at the 1-2 turn. Or that, you know, I went Waddle, Addison, Shakir, Hawkinson, Mooney, Goff, Bateman, McCarthy, Goddard, Tua, cheap Josh Palmer, Tolbert, Yoshivas, Adonai Mitchell, Patrick Bryant, Nick Westbrook-Akine. Would change that one if I could, but so who knows if I get the wide receiver firepower. But yeah, you could just say, first off, that you have a better structure. Second off, that, you know, you're drafting Ja'Cory Cross-Kimera instead of Nick Westbrook-Akine. You know, like, you don't got to stress the pure 1-to-1. Well, we need running backs the most for this team. And yeah, we'll just play the ADP, Brian Robinson. He's just not as good a pick on PPR, but all the hype's on Ja'Cory, but he could just, you know, punch in 15 touchdowns, whatever. Do you have a promo code for new drafters users? Yes, sir. It's in the YouTube description below. It's Chess Liam. Get you a $100 deposit match. If you have McCaffrey, Jennings, and Kittle, is Purdy a must? Good. Thanks for the super chat, John. Purdy is strongly preferred, but he's not a must because particularly when you have the running back with the wide receiver, running back and wide receiver is always some positive correlation and can be negative correlation where it's an easy story to tell yourself that CMC scores 25 points, mainly through rushing touchdowns and rushing production. Jennings goes like 8, 80, and 1. So he has a good game as well, or Kittle. And Purdy only scores 20. So in general, the quarterback is the most replaceable part of the stack always. Even if Purdy scores 25 and these guys have good games because of Purdy, you can make it up with Kyler or Fields or Bo Nix or Justin Herbert or Dak or whatever. So yeah, it's preferred, but it's not like a requirement. think we'll be going Tyrone Tracy. I just don't think. I mean, first off, he's a better pick on drafters. It's PPR, and his production at worst will be weighted towards the start of the season. Secondly, he's just like a starting running back, almost assuredly in round 9. Gives me some division correlation with Jaden Daniels. We need running backs, so yeah, great pick for my team. Wow. Sweet Asian dude with the jokes. I think it's okay to overstack on occasion. Jaden, Terry, Debo, Brian Robinson. It's not like that's like a crazy expensive stack. You can have all those players, and you could have Jamar Chase and Bucky Irving, and a 3rd round pick. Plus all your other picks, right? Mean Muggin is having he's having a realization that, you know what? Seeing Daniel Jones, he's not liking what he's seeing. You kind of have to see it for yourself to realize how bad Daniel Jones is. Let's do a giveaway, folks. If you have a Drafters account, if you don't, first sign up quick so you can get your ticket. But I'm going to do a free giveaway. If you won recently, you're ineligible. When this goes to 0, just spam your username in the chat. I'm just going to highlight a name. Okay, I timed this bad. I'm going to be back up on the clock. But yeah, just keep doing it. We're at the 10-second mark. Just spam your username, Control-C, Control-V. If you have a Drafters account, I'm only really seeing Roni Bologna comment right now. Time's up. Braun. Congratulations. Yeah, we'll buy the... Oh, do we buy the Fear Dip or do we go Loveland? No, let's go Mooney. All right, Braun. Congrats, sir. Let me check to make sure you haven't won recently. You have not. Congratulations. They'll be giving you a free ticket. Braun won tonight's ticket. If you want to win a ticket, we almost always do a free ticket giveaway when I do a Drafters draft. Sign up. Promo code Cheslium. Come on, dude. How is that rigged? Pre-recorded. You've seen me do a lot of giveaways, and like a lot of everyone else is like a ton of people have won. I literally just highlight the comment. So are some people faster at doing it? Yeah, maybe they're faster at doing Control-C, Control-V. See? Dante won recently. He sat it out. Thank you, Dante. All these quarterbacks went. And we do have McBride, which I forgot about. So, yeah, I think Bateman is kind of like a good fit for this format. He ended the year so strong. 23, 19, 17. 17. Kind of like a boom bust guy, which we like boom bust guys for this. So, Jaden Daniels, Chuba Hubbard, Brian Robinson, Tyrone Tracy, Justin Jefferson, Ladd McConkey, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, Trey McBride. I'm pretty sure, yes, how I'm saying it is right, because I'm pretty sure I said it wrong before, but he could tell me. Is drafters available in California? I don't know. But they are a smaller site, so typically they're not caught up in the same regulation as DraftKings, but I have no idea. Dante is right. Thank you. Yeah, I try to ask when people say I'm saying their name wrong. Okay, so the team's feeling good at wideout. By the way, the vibes with the Vikings are kind of weird. Like, I simply close my eyes and take Jefferson because it's Justin Jefferson. But yeah, reports are either like JJ McCarthy is terrible or JJ McCarthy is the second coming of Christ. And there's like nowhere in between. This team definitely needs to hit some running backs. I'm not too stressed at quarterback because like we have Jaden Daniels. So this team's going to ride and die by Jaden. You know, if Jaden's not averaging 25-ish a game-ish, okay, we lose, you know? Man, there's two guys I want here. Let me actually pay attention. I don't always pay attention on these stream drafts. I just think we have to go Penix. Man, I really want to go Tootin. There's like a small chance we get Penix on the wrap, but like people are just freaks about quarterbacks. So yeah, like this guy is a risky start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wideouts. Penix allows us to stop at quarterback. We do have Darnell Mooney. Just think it's the responsible pick. Appreciate you folks being here. Whether you're a long-time watcher or a new watcher, subscribe, like, drop a comment. All helps. I actually find it to be the opposite sometimes, Marshall. He says quarterbacks go before ADP and drafters. It can vary. Like, what you will randomly see is you will randomly see guys like Goff available at pick like 160. Or you'll see like Herbert available at pick 150. And then sometimes you see stuff like this. You'll see Herbert at 110 above ADP, you know? You'll see boom, boom, boom. Now, I could have passed on Penix and gotten like Bryce Young with Chuba. I think that's reasonable too. Yeah, these are the spots where you can really get screwed. The 1 and 12 spot. At QB. I'm prone to want to go 1-2 tight end with Trey McBride, but it is close. Okay, we don't get Tootin. Unfortunate. You know, I just like never draft Javonte. And so when he's past ADP, that's when I want to be doing it. It's a team that needs running back points. Reports are that he's like pretty much the RB1 there. If he loses his job later, who cares? I don't like the player. He's here 12 picks past ADP. That's a responsible time to take a guy you don't like. Gonna refill this water. Be right back. I'm a weak man. I reach for my quarterback because of all these filthy casuals who take them unstacked. I mean, honestly, I think it's totally fine to just reach on your quarterback. You know, you feel good about the draft, whatever. Do you forego the opportunity of getting maybe a super team occasionally? Yes, probably. But on average, you're probably like building teams. Like there are times where I just have to like bail out and be like, Dart, Rogers, Chuck, don't start this 7. Troy saying I'm weaker, taking Keenan at the 12-13 turn now. All right, guys, let it out. Let it out. This is your best ball therapy. What are you afraid of, and what are you doing that you're not proud about? Hi, I'm Liam. I took Javonte Williams at pick 150. Hi, I'm Troy. I took Keenan Allen at the 12-13 turn. Because I'm presuming he just didn't have any before. Let's do Mr. Strange. No, let's do Ertz with Jaden. Hi, I'm Mean Muggin. I took Travis Etienne at 115. This isn't the same thing, Ross, right? Like this is just something you like doing. Right? Like Troy is getting the memo. I just took Dotson in round 18. I'm ashamed, right? Like that. Like, hi, I'm Troy. I just took Jahan Dotson in round 18. I've definitely done 2 882s. Don't think they're bad. Could be the nuts, depending on the year. So Daniels, Penix, Chuba, Brian Robinson, Tracy, Javonte Williams, Jefferson, Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Bateman, McBride, Ertz. Team feels pretty good. Like in my heart of hearts, do I feel like this is the running back group that is winning this contest? No. So that leans me towards wanting to just draft more running backs. And particularly draft some guys who are like swing for the fences types. Because I just don't think that this group is going to be like rattling off some 30-point games. And my wide receiver group, I feel pretty good about. I am Cade. I took Kyle Pitts at 138. I am Cam. I have a team on DK with Darnold, Dart, and Flacco. Nobody will ever see it, luckily. Man, this is a crazy fall for Tua. Like, this is what I'm talking about, where the quarterbacks randomly fall. Again, I think this team just needs to swing for the fences. So, welcome, Rudy Marks. Let's just hope that you are the starter for the Texans. You got to realize, you got to look yourself in the mirror sometimes and be like, you know what? I think a lot of these guys can get like 20 points, but when Achane drops 40 or Derrick Henry drops 40, do I have any guys who can just smash, I mean, arguably you just got a little lucky that Richardson got hurt for the Daniel Jones stuff. I think it's, Marshall, a reasonable thing to do that some people do is to simply never draft anyone who's injured going into the year. But yeah, the early Godwin doesn't feel good. Yeah, fire off bets. What's your keeper league question? I have a lot of Antonio Gibson in the big board too. Gibson, ETN, both these guys could end up on the Chiefs. Reports are that they want a passing down back. Carson Steele, league winner for the Chiefs. Now that's the funniest future. People are saying Cousins on the Colts would feed families. I don't know, man. It's just like they probably just want to be really bad rather than like if it's not Richardson, they probably just want to be bad enough and select another quarterback at the top of the draft, even if they could get to the playoffs with Cousins, you know? But who knows? Because they'd have to pay Cousins a lot. They'd have to trade for him. So I know it's good, but like, yes, the Colts have pieces. Yeah, again, we're swinging for the fences. Taj Brooks is definitely a swing for the fence. The zero, like, again, I don't think my running back room was good enough to win this contest. So let me get some rookies with unheralded upside. Woody Marks and Taj Brooks. I think I might stop at 2 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks. It's kind of thin because it's like the 2 tight end is thin because there's just so many tight ends that are going to score points. And when Ertz gets hurt week 5 or Trey McBride gets hurt week 6 or something like that, and your team is otherwise good enough, you burned your team. But also, I mean, these guys can be pretty good together. 16 points last year, 11. Strong reporting for Ertz in camp so far. Well, yeah, but the owner might not sign off on the trade. Like the GMs just don't get to do things without ownership, right? So if the GM goes to the owner and says, you know what we need to do? We need to get Kirk Cousins. He might say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to fire you and we're going to restart. You know, like the ownership might decide that. Of course, the coach and GM wouldn't want to. Yeah, their defense is pretty bad. They have some offensive pieces, yes. Keep your question. Puka, 8th, round 1 year. Brian Thomas, 7th, 2 years. Bucky Irving, 12th, 2 years. I don't get the 1 year, 2 year thing. Can you clarify? Keaton Mitchell goes. I was going to consider him. Jacory Krosky Merritt with Brian Robinson is reasonable. It's going to be between Shipley and Merritt for me right now. Going to take either of those guys. Okay, we're going to go Shipley. We already have 2 rookies. We have Brian Robinson. He also is a swing at upside. So the running back room feels better now. You know, we got some like boring vets kind of with Robinson and Williams. Chuba and Tracy, you can squint and see upside. And then we got some swings at upside with Marks, Brooks, Ship. Yeah, I guess I meant like what logically could move things, and the answer is not much, but what will move from people simply watching football for the first time? A lot. I get them for 2 seasons and Puka for 1 season. So you only get one of those players' bets. You can either have an 8th round pick to have Puka for 1 year, a 7th round pick to have Brian Thomas for 2 years. So that right there is like, okay, it's clearly Brian Robinson over Brian Thomas over Puka because it's a similar pick, 7th versus 8th, and one you get for 2 years. Because Brian Thomas and Puka are similar assets, right? Now, the Bucky Irving added 12th for 2 years versus Brian Thomas, that's a closer discussion, and I would say you should do based on what you think is going to be available. Like if people are keeping Achan, Bijan, like if all the running backs are being kept and like the running backs you'll have to pick from are like Kyron, Brees, Cook, etc., then that kind of gives me an edge towards Bucky because you get 2 years of Bucky, man. Like that's fine. But you can't go wrong with Brian Thomas either. So yeah, it's between Thomas and Irving, and I would do it based on what other people are keeping. We're going to do Ray McLeod with Penix. I think we are going to take a third tight end. Why not? Build a 2-7-8-3. It's a build I like to do a lot. Could we take another running back? Yeah, but just gotta build good structurally eventually. Yeah, on the other hand, if like the keepers were like Chase, Jefferson, Puka, Nico, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, and like the first wide receiver available in drafts is like, Tyreek Hill, okay, that steers me towards Brian Thomas, I think the 7th versus 12th is like negligible. Yeah, I kind of said this, that like the casual crowd just loves Joe Burrow. So it's not really surprising that he just goes naked. All right, let's take a tight end. Why not? Stick it to the haters. Noah Fant. We just need to get a big game or two from Noah Fant. In my heart, I think Higbee's a better pick, but I posted my winning BBM2 team earlier today. Got some synergy there. Yeah, I'm in about 50 DraftKings slows so that I didn't have to do 100 teams fast, strictly through DraftKings. Fant is like, he's kind of a good texture pick with this room too, because he has yak ability. So like Burrow throws him the ball, he runs for a 40-yard touchdown, boom. I like Reed and Golden a lot. So yeah, I take a lot of both of them. They're ranked right next to each other in my rankings. We got a lot of week 5 buys. At what? We're going to do Noah Brown. Don't know for sure that he's the wide receiver 3 for Washington, but we've seen Noah Brown pop up for some huge fantasy games before, which again is really all you kind of need. I don't think I really have any injured players going into the year on this team other than Darnell Mooney, who I think will play week 1. So the team is Jaden and Michael Penix, Chuba, Brian Robinson, Tyron Tracy, Javonte Williams, Woody Marks, Taj Brooks, Will Shipley, Jefferson, Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Bateman, McLeod, Noah Brown, Trey McBride, Ertz, Fant. McLeod protects us a little bit if Mooney is slow to start the year, So I like the team. I think it's well structurally built. Are we getting enough points at running back? I don't know. Did we select the right wide receivers? We will see. Did we need a third tight end with McBride? To be determined. But I like the team overall. 2-7-8-3. All right, folks. That's what I got for you tonight. A quick 2. Should have redraft rankings at beatbestball.com live tomorrow. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on the video. Helps me out. Join the Discord. Links below. Promo code Cheslium if you want to get up and running on drafters. Peace out.